Hello.
Maybe.
Frick, I probably should have the questions out. It's just like you could explain like what you do for a job first.
That's a good question. I work with kids with disabilities, so whether that's like speech related or any kid kind of on the spectrum that needs help in their like, you know, regulating their behavior to, you know, basically just hanging out with them, making sure, you know, they fit in like socially and everything.
Mm-hmm. What got you hooked on this activity / your passion of working with children?
Okay. I think it was because like when I was younger, Mom worked with like people with disabilities like throughout, and I would go over to actually one of the houses every Friday, and I would essentially just hang out with her, and I kind of see how like Mom, you know, would like incorporate like her needs into like the routine essentially. Whether I was like literally laying beside this girl or like playing with her, Mom would still come in, you know, like do her like physiotherapy stuff or like do her like medications or anything like that. So I saw no different essentially. So it's just like, this is just an everyday thing. I'm hanging out with this girl that's like my age, you know, she's just slightly different, but yeah, I looked past that, so I was like, why not go into something that does that?
Alright, and what has been the greatest obstacle that you faced pursuing working with children with disabilities?
I think that would probably be, each kid has been like so different. Like whether I work with a kid with autism who has troubles with like a routine per se, or if I have a kid that needs assistive tech to like help them communicate, or if I have someone with like cerebral palsy and they need like their braces or anything like that, each kid has a different thing you kind of have to face. So I think the obstacle itself is like just knowing how to help each of those kids essentially. Like when I do my kids with like autism in my private care, like that slight change can just throw them off completely, even if it's like you moving your hair, like that can just throw them off.
Yeah.
Whereas if, you know, a kid's brace is too tight, you have to figure out how can we fix that, like without him or her kind of freaking out essentially. Or, you know, my kids with that use their assistive tech, figuring out which one works best, like whether if it's like something called a PODS book or an iPad to communicate. You kind of just have to figure out the right balance in them. Okay, so the girl I do private care for, she went through like her own like slope of, you know, her regulation and her routines and everything, because she has to have a very set schedule. She has to know what's next. She has to know like how things are going to go, and you have to like warn her if something's going to change essentially. So like this past summer we had to do like this big change of like she's going to be moving. And so I remember, because I was leaving for a trip, so we had to like create like visuals, and we had to, you know, kind of like write things down with her, because she uses this thing, what do they call it? Like express text. So she would like type things out herself to help herself like kind of regulate.
Oh, okay.
So we would like have to communicate with her what was going to happen, and she would use this like express text thing to essentially regulate herself and kind of comprehend what we're saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was, and so like when the move came, apparently it like went like smoothly and everything. I mean, there's like a few bumps obviously, because like you're moving.
What has been your greatest success in doing your job?
I had a kid when I did my practicum, and he had like cerebral palsy, and so he had the braces, but he had like limited communication skills. So he would use an iPad to like talk.
Yeah.
And I felt really good about that one, because by the end of my practicum, he was able to like point to like the buttons and like tell me essentially that his braces were too tight.
Aww.
So I was like, yes, that is so good.
We made it.
We did it.
What is the best advice that you would give to somebody trying to pursue their passion?
Well, I know with mine, it's kind of thinking like more towards like the end road of it, like knowing that there's going to be a success in it. There's, you know, you're going to feel great about it. Like, I mean, when my kids talk per se, whether that's, you know, verbally or using like their iPad, like it's awesome to know that they're learning that, they're going to be able to do that. I know it's like the satisfaction at the end of it, or even like during it, when, you know, you can see the steps that they're getting it, and it's like, yes, good. So good. Yeah.
Cute. We outie.